Card number 3, surrender. This one is about the element of fire and how we work with fire. Well, we don't really work with fire. This is the concept of fire that represents anger. And the person that sits on the side corner of this image where the fire is burning, notice this fire is actually burning on this person's skin because obviously it's shedding for her, but it's actually not burning for her. Emotion of anger. When anger is in your chest, and whatever you say, it comes out of us angry because everything is in the chest. There's a lot of chi in your chest, and you're ready to have a conversation. When naturally your chi is down here, about your belly area, and then when chi comes up, you feel very angry because there's a lot of chi that's running here. And then when fire starts to go up, it comes to your face go red, your ears go red, and your head becomes heated. And then what happens is after you have a heated conversation, when the fire starts finish burning, because remember, fire goes up, it doesn't go down. Water goes down, fire goes up. So what happens is when fire goes up, you feel like your entire head is burning, your chest is burning because you're breathing much more rapidly. And then when you when you disconnect from the other person, for example, especially if you're doing a online conversation, like speaking through the camera, and when you disconnect, then you will come back to your body, and you will notice, oh my God, my feet is so cold, my arms, my hands are cold, my body is cold naturally, but my head, my ears, and my face are blushing, and it's really red because you have just entered a heated conversation because the chi are almost just here, only just about here. Whereas naturally, when we're peaceful, our chi is moving through our body, most likely to be in our feet. This isn't about goosebumps and then you're ready to run away, like a fear, fight and fright trigger response. This is just purely about anger, right? Then what happens is you start burning, everything's burned. What actually burns on your face, and the reason why your face is so red, I'm making things up. You're burning off a layer of mask. You're defending something that people think you are, but you're not. For example, if people think you are a coward, but you're not really a coward, and you defend yourself, then that means you're burning off some of the cowardness people see you because you're not a coward anymore. You have stood up for yourself, for example. And usually when we are angry, is because people are blaming us, or maybe not to the extreme of blame, saying something that it doesn't resonate with us, doesn't sit well with us, isn't something we are, and we want to burn it off. We want to kick it off. And obviously, sometimes we can just say, no, it's not us. No, it's not. I'm confident that it's not me. But then sometimes there's a line between about what they say, maybe true, maybe not true. We're not so sure whether it's true or not, especially if you're young and you're developing your understanding for yourself. Then when your parents or someone who you admire, who is someone you look up to, make a statement about you, you're not really sure that's who you are, but and you think maybe that is really who you are. And then when you have made a point where you actually absolutely understood that's not who you are, then you defend for that, right? Then you would go against them. You would defend yourself. And the reason you're defending yourself is because you have worked out who you are, not 100%, but you have worked out who you are and that's not who you are. Then they make a statement about that and you would defend yourself. And then so between you absolutely 100% know who you are and you know who you are, there's a gap, right? So you're just like, sorry, mate, that's not who I am. But before that, before that happens, you would actually go into a state of defend. You would defend for what's the truth. And that's really important. Fire is really important because fire lifts you up, right? Because fire has high temperature and then can reach a boiling point, ignite point. Then you shut it off, something that you thought were part of you, what were you, but it's not actually you. Then you burn it off and phoenix rises because the part that's been burned off will be replaced with the truth. So for example, if you have been brainwashed heavily and you believe something that's about you that's not true, and then when you surrender that belief about you that is not true, it hurts. It really does hurt. So be patient because fire takes time to burn off. Fire does not burn without any material. It burns burns off some material, either wood or coal or anything that I can think of. Fire does not just burn in mid-air. There's nothing to burn. So let it burn. Who knows how long it will be? You might be angry for like a period of time, maybe years or 2 years, until you become peace with yourself. And that moment, when you become peace with yourself, you know who you are. You 100% know who you are. And then nothing can trigger you because you know who you are. There's no dead bit of wood to be burned off. Phoenix comes to you. Phoenix comes to you because Phoenix love fire. So Phoenix is someone that rises from the ashes, right? Because now you have burned off something, you're wounded, you're different, you're incomplete again. You're incomplete, but you're actually very complete because you're moving towards the truth. You have a lot of layers. It's like onion peeling against the onion. The onion. Let it burn. Sit there. It might burn off your clothes, burn off your labels, burn off your masks. Doesn't matter. Let it burn. You will see. You will then eventually, with only who you are, the bit that isn't able to be triggered by anything external, that bit is peace. That bit is love, and that bit is the best feeling we can ever have. Imagine if every day we wear a mask, and that's not who we are. We feel sorry, we feel unhappy. We're not happy. People don't see who we are. They see the fake version of us, fake version of ourselves. At least that's the illusion they see, not exactly who we are. So, starting to have a feeling of maybe who you are isn't what they see you as, to the point where you're actually ready to defend yourself, going through anger, going through surrendering, then reaching the point of peace, 100% happy with who you are because this is the real version of you. That takes time. Those gaps takes time. So be patient. And the next thing I will talk about is once you have a heated argument, how to resolve it. Don't just feel hurt. Everybody's burned because fire is wild. When you're angry, emotion is very contagious. So if you're angry, it's likely to trigger an angry response in other person. Because if people are normally to you being angry, then it's likely they will feel very frightened because they have a trigger that you usually don't give. Then what happens is they feel like they've done something wrong. They're mindful about what to say, what to not say. They don't know what to say, what to not say. And then make sure you make it up with them. Make sure you resolve the anger like a real person because you care about them. You don't want the situation to end like this. Make an effort. The next thing I will talk about is this. After the argument, one of the party will exit the fighting scene, the battle scene, the argument scene, or the disagreement scene. Then, if this happens to be your family member and happens to be a younger person, it's most likely this person will approach a desk or a four-legged furniture, or could be a couch. And what would happen is this person will sit down, arm folded. If not arm folded, then leaning towards the table like this. So what they're really doing is protecting the wounded heart area. So they would have their back exposed. Not saying that being back exposed makes them any safer, but having their wounded heart exposed would make them more vulnerable. They are waiting for this hurt to be over. It usually takes about a couple of hours before the aftermath of the fire burning goes away. So they will come down, but having it burnt like that would probably mean there would be a scar left somewhere. At this stage, it is very important at about 1 hour mark that the other person enters the room, or the room that this person is hiding in, or the place this person is hiding. In the case if this person was sitting on a couch, then it's likely this person would move away from the couch quickly because there's nothing to protect them hard apart from their folded arms. So with their back exposed, and if they lean on a table and they try to avoid conversation because they lean toward the table and they're focusing onto the protection of the table. If you think about it, now that I'm speaking through the camera, I'm actually standing on a desk on a table, not on a desk, but like behind the table. So when my arms go down, my hands go down, I can have my hands here. But imagine if I back away from the table, and if my arm goes down, then there would be a lot of freedom for where my arm goes, and that would create a lot of instability. But whereas if I approach the desk and I use the desk as some kind of stabilizer, then I can present myself in a more stronger way, because that means I have a four-legged foundation, because four-legged things are very stable. And we are two-legged animals. When we stand up, it's not very stable. If you think about it, if you lose a lot of muscles movements, we just move down. Whereas if we're four-legged, we're more likely to be able to stabilize ourselves. So that's one thing. And so what happens is, so this person is protecting their heart in this one area, but if you approach them and you try to make a conversation, it is highly likely that this person will move towards the table even more to protect their heart from exposed, right? So then it's really important that you calmly enter the room, say nothing, make no noise, but let them hear the footsteps. At this stage, they're actually really sensitive for hearing. So they'll hear everything because the fire is still burning. They are going to hear everything that's going to approach you. They are expecting something. But this thing that they're not expecting is silence, right? Silence is love. So you enter the room, you close the door to prevent air from movement. When the room is still, you can try this exercise yourself. If you're unable to sleep during the night, shut the door out to make sure there's no air moving in and out of the room. Then you're more likely to enter a state of sleep. When your air is open, when your room is open and there's air moving around, or the window is open, there's air moving around, you're least likely to be able to fall asleep. I was at a meditation group the other day, and because there were so many people and the doors were shut, and I was falling asleep in about like 15 minutes. But then when they opened the doors up, the air was moving again, then I was a bit more awake. So you could try this exercise. So once the door is shut, approach them, stand behind their back, not directly like I'm sitting here, right? Sitting here, and I'm standing directly back. That's really intimidating. Other will overshadow them. Then you move on the side. They're sitting here, right? And they're on the side. Watch over them, but say nothing. Stand there still for a moment. That let their expectation and anticipation go away. Because once you go into silence and you're not moving, they don't know what you want to do. They become calmer. A lot of time, if you have a conversation with someone, use the power of silence. When someone isn't listening to you, take a deep breath and say nothing. Then this allows them to invite you to answer. Then that means they will absolutely be willing to hear your answer because they're ready to hear. If you're in a heated argument or if you're in a heated conversation, it's likely they're not even listening to you. They are listening to respond. And this is not how a healthy conversation is going to go. Discussion or argument with someone, and if one of you enters to a state where you're listening to respond, it is likely you're not listening at all. You're just listening to keywords and you're trying to fight against it. Use the power of silence, calm down the situation, and let them invite you to answer their question. Okay, back to the story. Back to this picture. And then what happens is, if you happen to be holding a blanket or you're prepared, or if you're wearing a jacket in winter, for example, take off the jacket and put on them, wrap the jacket behind them. And if you're more advanced, if you're an energy worker, you channel energy and wrap your energy around them. They can feel it because at that stage they're very vulnerable and they're really sensitive to energy as well. And then exit the room peacefully. It is likely this is an offer. You're inviting them to make up with you because they know you have offered your love, your support, your kindness, and your effort in making this work. Do not go in the room and start a conversation because that's very dangerous. Walk away, invite them for a conversation. because they know you're willing to hear them. Thank you very much.